and her pallor and the rings under her eyes are not caused by that problem women have every month, because it has been many months and even years since it last came knocking on her door, but by the pain which her heart feels for that other heart that she always clasps, clasps between her hands, and that remind her of the misfortune of her lover died so young. For if this were not so, she could hardly be equaled in beauty, grace, and spirit by the great Dulcinea del Toboso herself, so famous throughout this place and indeed throughout the world. Hold on there, I said. Relate your history, Sir Montesinos, in the proper manner, for you are well aware that all comparisons are odious, and there is therefore no call to compare anyone with anyone else. The matchless Dulcinea del Toboso is who she is, and the Lady Bellarma is who she is, and who she has been, and let us leave it at that. To which he replied, Don Quixote, sir, do forgive me, for I confess that I was in the wrong, and I should not have said that the Lady Dulcinea could hardly equal the Lady Bellarma, because realizing by some strange hunch that you are her knight ought to have been enough to make me hold my tongue rather than compare her to anything other than heaven itself. With this satisfaction that the great Montesinos gave me, my heart was put at ease. After this shock I have received on hearing my lady compared to Bellarma, what amazes me, said Sancho, is that you didn't jump the old fool and kick all his bones to pulp and yank out his beard till there wasn't a single hair left in his chin. No, friend Sancho, Don Quixote replied, it would not have been right for me to do that, because it is the duty of all of us to treat the elderly with respect, even those who are not knights, and particularly those who are knights and have been enchanted. And I know that we measured up well to each other in the many other questions and answers that were subsequently exchanged between us. The cousin commented, I can't understand, Don Quixote, sir, how in such a short space of time as you were down there you could have seen so many things and had such a long conversation. How long ago did I go down? Don Quixote asked. A bit over an hour ago, Sancho replied. That cannot be, Don Quixote retorted, because while I was there night came, and then it was morning, and again 3 times altogether. So by my reckoning I have been 3 days in those remote parts hidden from our sight. My master must be telling the truth, said Sancho, because since everything that happens to him comes by way of enchantment, maybe what seems to us like an hour seems like 3 days and the nights down there. That must be the explanation. Don Quixote replied, And have you had anything to eat all this time, sir? Asked the cousin. I have not had a single mouthful to break my fast, Don Quixote replied. yet I have not felt hungry in the slightest. And do the enchanted eat? Asked the cousin. No, they do not, Don Quixote replied, nor do they have bowel movement, although it is believed that their nails, their hair, and their beard do grow. And do the enchanted sleep by any chance, sir? Sancho asked. Certainly not, Don Quixote replied. At least during these 3 days that I was with them, none of them had a moment sleep, and nor did I. There's a proverb that fits the bill here, said Sancho. A man is known by the company he keeps. If you go hobnobbing with fasting and sleepless people under spells, no wonder you don't eat or sleep while you are with them. But you will have to forgive me, sir, if I say the devil. I mean, God take me if I believe one word of all you've been saying. What do you mean? Said the cousin. Are you suggesting that Don Quixote is lying? Even if he wanted to do that, he hasn't had time to make up such a vast quantity of falsehood. No, I don't think my master's lying, Sancho replied. What do you think then? Asked Don Quixote. What I think is this, said Don Quixote. A character Merlin, or those enchanters who put a spell on that crowd you say you saw and talked to down there, stuffed your mind or your memory full of all that called swallow you've been telling us, and all the rest that yet to come as well. Such a thing could happen, Sancho, Don Quixote replied. But it has not happened in this case, because what I have recounted is what I saw with my own eyes, touched with my own hands. But I wonder what you are going to say when I tell you that, among countless other marvels that Montesinos showed me, and about which I shall inform you at the leisure, and as appropriate in the course of our journey, because this is not the right time or place for some of them. He showed me 3 village girls sleeping and frolicking in those delightful meadows, like 3 goats, and as soon as I saw them, I recognized one of them as the matchless Dulcinea del Toboso, and the other 2 as those same girls who were with her, to whom we spoke on the outskirts of El Toboso. I asked Montesinos whether he knew them. He replied that he did not, but that he supposed they must be some ladies of quality who had been enchanted, that they had appeared in those meadows a few days earlier, and that this should not surprise me, because in those places there were many other ladies of past and present centuries, transformed by enchantment into all sorts of strange figures, among who had spotted Queen Guinevere and her duenna Quintanuna pouring out wine for Lancelot, when from Brittany came. When from Brittany he came. When Sancho Panza heard his master say all this, he thought he'd go crazy or die laughing, since he knew the truth about Dulcinea's fate, enchantment, he himself having been the enchanter and the concocter of the evidence. He was now certain beyond any possible doubt that his master was as mad as a hatter, and so he said, "It was an evil moment and a worse hour and a black day when you went down into the other world, dear master of mine, and an unlucky instant when you met Mr. Montesinos, who's done this to you. You were fine up here in your right mind, just as God gave it to you, speaking your words of wisdom and advice at every turn, not how you are now, coming out with the biggest pack of nonsense anyone could ever imagine. Since I know you, Sancho, said Don Quixote, I shall pay no attention to your words, nor will I to yours, Sancho retorted. Even if you do rough me up or kill me for what I said and for what I'm going to say, if you don't change your tune. Tell me, though, while we were still at peace, how did you recognize our mistress? And if you spoke to her, what did you say, and what did she reply? I recognized her, Don Quixote replied, by the fact that she was wearing the same clothes as when you pointed her out to me. I did speak to her, but she uttered not a word in reply. Instead, she turned her back on me and ran away so fast that a crossbow bolt could not have caught her. I wanted to follow her, and I should have done so if Montesinos had not advised me not to board, because it would have been in vain, and also because the time was approaching for me to leave the cave. He furthermore told me that in due course I should be informed of the means of disenchanting him, and Belerma, and Durandarte, and all the others down there, but of all the sad scenes I saw in that place, what made me feel sorriest was that when Montesinos was speaking these words to me, one of the hapless Dulcinea's companions sidled up without my seeing her come, and her eyes full of tears, murmured in a distraught voice, "My lady Dulcinea del Toboso kisses your hands and entreat you to do her the honor of informing her how you are, and being in great need, she also entreats you from the bottom of her heart to be so kind as to lend her, on this new poplin petticoat, half of a dozen reals, as many as you have on you, and she gives you her word that she will return them without delay." This message was a source of great amazement to me, and turning to Montesinos, I asked him, "Is it possible, Sir Montesinos, that enchanted persons of quality can be in need?" To which he replied, believe you me. Don Quixote de la Mancha, what people call need, can be found everywhere, and it extends to all parts and affects everybody, and does not even spare the enchanted. And since the Lady Dulcinea del Toboso has sent to ask you for these 6 reals, and the pledge seems a good one, you have no option but to give them to her, for she must be in some desperate strait. I cannot accept any pledge, I replied. Still less give her what she asks for, because I only have 4 reals on me. I gave them to her. They were the ones you let me have the other day, Sancho, as alms for my beggars you might come across at the roadside. And I said, my dear friend, tell your mistress that it grieves me to my soul to hear of her troubles, and that I wish I were a fog to be in a position to remedy them, and that I should like to inform her that I cannot and should not enjoy good health while deprived of her delightful presence and intelligent conversation, and that I entreat her from the bottom of my heart to be so kind as to allow this, her captive servant, and the rest night to see and talk to her. You must also tell her that when she least expected, she will hear that I have sworn an oath, after the style of the one sworn by the Marquis of Mantua, to avenge his nephew Baldwin when he found him dying on the mountain, which was near a table to eat bread and certain inconsequential trifles that he appended until he had avenged Baldwin, and I shall swear a similar oath never to rest, and to roam through the 7 parts of the world mere painstakingly than Prince Peter of Portugal ever roamed through them, until I disenchant her. All this and more I owe to my mistress, the damsel replied, and she took the 4 reals, and instead of courtesying, she leapt 5 feet into the air. God Almighty, Sancho cried out, can things like this really be going on in the world? And can enchanters and their spells have so much power as to change my master's good sense into raving lunacy? Oh, sir, for God's sake, look out for yourself and for your good name, and don't set store by all this hocus pocus that's been addling your wit. You are only speaking in that way, Sancho, because you love me so well, said Don Quixote, and since you lack experience in the ways of the world, anything that is at all difficult, anything that is at all difficult to understand seems impossible to you, but the time will come, as I have told you, when I shall describe for you some more of what I saw down there, and I will make you believe what I have just been telling you. because there can be no disputing its veracity. Because there can be no disputing its veracity. Okay, a break. Next time I will read chapter 24. Bye.